Hey, what's up, everybody? It's me, Danae, and I'm here with a message for you. The bottom of the deck, we have the Strength card, which is pretty self-explanatory. I feel guided to say what one of my favorite YouTubers says, that where there's strength, the devil is lurking. But I'm hesitant. Oh, well, thank God for angelic presence right there before I could even get it out fully. So that's a confirmation right there that, and where the devil is lurking, God is present. Ten of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. Because I was just about to say, well, I'm not trying to have another heavy ass reading, but hey, I'm open to however the spirit flows right now. Ten of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck, which is about legacy and material prosperity, all that good stuff. I don't know why I'm starting to put them this way. That may change, but for now, we got the Eight of Pentacles, which is about working hard and in the spiritual sense and in a material sense, being very productive in some way, shape, or form. Maybe a new job with the Page of Pentacles here, a new opportunity to be productive and prosperous in some fresh way. That is, well, with the Eight of Pentacles, it implies that this was a work that had already started. So with the Page of Wands, it's saying that maybe there's some new expansion of a work that's already been started or created. So that's very positive energy. All by the way of strength, being a leading force, and the Wheel of Fortune, which is also amazing. This is about destiny and definitely in ways of expansion, because Jupiter is an expansive energy and is definitely in a strong aspect right now, as this is also Sagittarius energy with Temperance here. So that there's some spiritual work or some energetic work, some work that is energetically fulfilling, that you've already invested in, already kind of, put yourself to work at, for lack of a better word. You've already started some work of ethereal essence, and it doesn't mean that it has to necessarily be religious or spiritual in its most practical sense, but it's a work that is gratifying for you at your highest vibration. When I see the Eight of Pentacles, I'm thinking of a work that you would almost do for free. So it's like devotion to something, it doesn't even feel like work, because it's satisfying to your spirit, your soul, and it serves some practical purpose as well. So it's like double. So whatever that work is, it's being expanded in the earth by way of what is pretty much already ordained to be. It kind of like took you doing the work for the universe to kind of meet you halfway, in a sense, is what I'm hearing. Like it was already going to be ordained for this thing. It was already written for whatever this project or presentation of yourself is, to be made manifest in spirit and in truth. It was just a matter of you, expressing the acceptance of that energy in full form, so that you could have that ethereal essence to kind of like give you the leg up on the work that you already put in. And by way of releasing some that's how we make ourselves ready and available. So it's like you could do all the work in the world, but if you're still carrying around burdens that are not divinely ordained for you to carry, it's almost like you could be spinning your wheels. But the work in itself is truly when you begin to release yourself of these boundaries not boundaries, maybe the opposite of that, maybe erect some boundaries, but to release some burdens. And usually the addition to that is erecting some healthy boundaries or securing your boundaries in a sense from picking up these burdens again. They could be people, places, and things that are going to be a distraction or have been a distraction, obstruction, or destruction to your life's work, the work that you are ordained to create in this earth on account of, just what incites you and excites you to live. It's usually the things that we find are most valuable to creating value in our lives, or expanding the experience, what was the word I'm trying to find? The quality of our lives that incites us to do something to be an impact in that regard. So for instance, you see that there is a particular problem, or you had a particular problem or lack or something in your life, maybe growing up, or even, as you were maturing, you identified an opportunity, and you saw an invitation to fill that void. Maybe it was an opportunity within your own life. And when I say opportunity, maybe some lack or void, or something that you were missing, and you realize that you were what was missing. You were created in a sense, or just enlightened in that regard, so that you could fill that space and that gap, not just for yourself, but for creation. And that's the highest vibration of creativity that ultimately becomes lasting, because it comes from a space that you're already passionate about. And then the spirit, the source, can get behind that force, productively, because it's contributing to the productivity of creation. But a lot of times we carry around burdens of what we think we should be on account of what we see others doing, or what we feel obligated to be or do or have on, from external influences, or, impositions or projections. And sometimes we miss the opportunity to really work on the things that are most valuable to us for, an obstructive view of things that, are just nonsensical in a lot of ways, or that make too much sense. Things are too practical, by way of how we're seeing our reflection as society. And sometimes the simple thing, the thing that actually brings us joy, is and peace, and ignites our passion, is almost like too good to be true, in the sense of us actually connecting to it as some extended opportunity for expansion. Sometimes we see those hobbies, or those passions, those pastimes, as things that are just to be kind of put to the side, because society tells us, or our circumstances tell us, that the more practical ways of making a living, of working, of laboring for life, are more secure and more stable. Otherwise we'd have a world in which that would be much more balanced, in my opinion, if people were actually following the passions of their life and moving in the way that their destiny is truly calling them. A lot of times we get lost on the way. So anyway, kind of dragged that on a bit, didn't I? But I guess it was meant to be said. Let's see what else we got here. Remember, this is about strength, and true strength in this realm is about being courageous, as that card projects, Leo energy, to stand out amongst the crowd, and maybe do something that's a little bit against the grain, on the fray of society, perhaps, on, a step outside of the norm, even for what you're used to in some senses, but for the ultimate purposes of life fulfillment and the quality of life, much less than the quantity. or much more than the quantity. So these are the agreements that we have made, or agreements that are made. And I'm seeing, okay, we're in Leo season. That's number one. This is like a lion's head up here. And also there is Venus retrograde right now that started a couple days ago in the sign of Leo. So it's bringing up a lot of question marks about our love life, our partnerships, our relationships with money, and how we make money. What's the value of it? You know, what does it hold? What value does it hold in our lives? How is it? You know, what precedence does it take, even as to how we make it? You know, make money, and how we forge relationships and partnerships, professionally, platonically, intimately, every bit of way. Of course, being it the foundation of love. And love is the purest form of creative force. You know, like I was saying before, maybe that's why I was going on and on about following your passions, is because in this time, universally, we're all being invited to take a deep look introspectively and retrospectively at the commitments that we've made in our lives to people, places, and things, and maybe lay some things to rest, or allow some, you know, or be laid to rest, or for them to be transformed also, in another vibration of the word, because death doesn't necessarily mean expiration. It also means transformation. And yes, as you're taking a look over the landscape of your life and introspectively as to what relationships are working for you, are they rooted in love, you know, in its purest form? Do they exhibit that? Do they reflect that? Do they project that from the inside out? And again, relationships and partnerships. Are your professional commitments an exhibition of love? And that doesn't necessarily mean love in the, you know, the most intimate ways, you know, the most sensationalized ways, but it means like, does it reflect the purest value of you? Do you love to do what you're doing in your professional partnerships, whether it be a job or even with the business you've created, or a partner, a collaboration that you've made to co-create something? Is there love there? Is there pure creativity there? Is it serving some high vibrational purpose of productivity and prosperity? That's the essence of love in a professional sense. And then, of course, money, which is also a very Venus energy and inflection, is kind of connected to the business aspect, in the sense as to how you are making money, and how is money making you? What's your relationship to money? Are you doing things in your life for the sake of money, or is money just an added value to you know, a resource that is fueling your passions? Like this guy, he's not working for the sake of creating money. He's working for the sake of creativity itself. He finds great value in what he does, and therefore the prosperity is attracted to him in this position, and in this force. You know, that's how it ultimately works. And the same should be for anything that you commit or connect to at this stage, because anything that is not a vibration of, you know, this temperance energy, which is balance energetically, you know, in spirit and in truth, is really a dead end energy. You know, it either needs to be transformed to meet your vibration, which is much easier said than done when you're talking about experiences that are happening outside of you. It's much more realistic to be able to transform self, to be able to find comfort and contentment in these commitments and opportunities for creativity in every sense of the word. And when you do transform self, you almost have to be prepared that some things may or may not make that transformation with you, which is where ultimately the laying to rest part comes into play. So this is very much so in alignment with the universal energy right now, which is, this Venus retrograde. Don't be afraid of the transformations that are taking place in your life. It's happening for you, not to you. And even the things that feel like they're happening to you are still for your greatest good. Don't be afraid to let some things go, people, places, and things, or excuse yourself from people, places, and things at this time. Yeah, there's heartbreak, and rejection, which is really self-explanatory as to what I'm saying. There may be some opportunities that you have to say no to on account of a misalignment. Maybe opportunities in relationships, present and newly propositioned, that you have to reject on account that this cup of love, this cup here represents the Ace of Cups, which is an overflow of love from the divine, which is also representative here. It's like angelic protection and guidance, meaning you're a high vibration of intel that's almost helping you stay balanced in spirit and in truth from an ethereal perspective, of which is very unsensational, and bringing that energy into earth in a way that is very sensational. And then Jupiter energy here expanding upon that creativity in a very powerful way. Jupiter is the biggest planet in the solar system, ultimately, and it's known for expansion and exploration. So this is an encouragement, and I started with this being an expansion, with that ace, that Page of Pentacles, a work that was started that's now being expanded in some new way. And with that are the relationships and the opportunities for there to be, a disconnect from things that are not in that vibration. So, with that may come some heartbreaking choices that get to be made that maybe weren't, otherwise intended, or maybe you may be on the other end of some rejection or resistance because of the changes that you're making in your life to do something different or be different or be in a different place. Take heart that you're not missing anything. There's no missed opportunity here. This heartbreak is actually even a reflection of a past experience that one is more or less healing from, or in the process has healed from, or in the process of, or has the capacity to heal from, I'll say. So anything that you feel you are being disconnected from, whether it be a relationship, a job, a vision that you may be held tightly to, maybe the business itself that you poured a lot of energy into, but it's just not hitting the way that it was before. It may feel sudden that there's a shift. The shifts and changes that are occurring now, especially under this Venus retrograde, may feel a bit sudden and out of nowhere, but take heart that it's all in universal alignment, to align you in your highest good for ultimate expansion. So don't, like this guy can often look back at these three cups. Another way to perceive this energy is he's looking in the past at these three cups, at some past experience, almost wishing for something that is not so, when here it is, a divine trying to hand down a cup of love and emotions and spiritual and emotional fulfillment straight from the source. And he has his arms folded to it because it doesn't look like the past, or the past maybe was comfortable or so. But in a lot of ways, if there is an opportunity for a shift or realignment, it may be because there either has been some experience of heartbreak, maybe not in the most extreme cases, but some misalignment there that hasn't. Maybe it was good for a time, I'll say that, because not everything, that has happened is necessarily to some detriment of you. Maybe it was good for a time, but in the season of progression and expansion that you're moving into, perhaps that energetic force that you may have been comfortable with, or almost said complacent in, is not the vibe to carry you into this next leg of the journey. You know, it's always an opportunity to be open for something new. We're ever evolving creatures, and some things are here for a reason, a season, and some for a lifetime. And here is the Emperor card. What's the Emperor telling us about? Emperor is definitely a high, and the Queen of Swords. The Emperor is about control, extreme power, a high position of authority. Yeah, maybe that's expressing with the Queen of Swords here. Yeah, and then the Sun card right behind. I didn't mean to do that, but when you see those rays, you gotta, the sun cannot be hidden, but for so much, and maybe this is an opportunity to see the value of the position that you hold, to really appreciate your power and your force, your autonomy. Yeah, that's what I hear, like your autonomy, especially with the Queen of Swords. She's a very cerebral queen. She's a logical thinker. Sometimes we can get caught up in the past emotions of our experiences and get lost, in that current, when it's time to progress on in some other, high vibrational way. We might be still flowing in an old current of emotions that don't put us in the most prominent position to make strong decisions, and that don't really uphold our highest truth. The energy in the Queen of Swords here is just, to me, solidifying some position of power that is honorable, that is definitely honorable, and it's a position that is held by you, whomever you are listening, that receives this in this way, by way of leaving behind those experiences that, or at least I'll say, seeing the value of those experiences as teachable moments, as, the value of them as being a necessity to your growth, expansion, evolution, and promotion, ultimately, is what I see. Because see here, he's a worker. Down here, he's the Emperor. Like he's the head man in charge. The Emperor is the most prominent male, masculine energy in the deck, and the highest vibration, ultimately all around, but certainly in the highest vibration. And this is definitely some indication of upgrade and promotion that has taken place on account of being in the flow of your highest spiritual alignment, and being in integrity with that flow, with the Queen of Swords. Good stuff. Oh, that flipped over quite nice. Yeah, and this is the autonomy here, and the feminine essence, which I love this card even as much, if not more, as I love the Empress card. It might as well be like the Emperor, Empress next to each other in a sense, because this is like, really being in the value of your independence. It's your spiritual essence that is manifested in a physical, material form. So that this is like spiritual clout that translates into material clout. You know what I mean? Like all that you've worked for, all the seeds that you planted at this Eight of Pentacles position. This is the progression. That you get to kind of just really enjoy the fruits of your labor, in a very sensational way and a satisfying way, because the Nine of Pentacles is one that, you know, is living life like it's golden, pretty much. You can see the disparity here, even in the essence of the cards. This is a very masculine energy, which is proactive and productive, work, work, work. And this is one that is reactive and reproductive in the sense, I'm sorry, yeah, reactive too, but receptive and reproductive in the sense where the work that has already been invested and sown now just continues to manifest at this stage. And all that really is to do is to just maintain, stay in integrity, continue to stay connected to this vibration of autonomy, no matter what the rest of the world looks like, you know, no matter how this wheel turns, you know, staying focused and connected to what is your destiny and what, you know, what alignments are most prominent for your prosperity. And, you know, life just lives itself ultimately, you know, or you're definitely living life and life is not living you. Yeah, in a restful state of being. Like this is almost a moving meditation of sorts. Like you are willfully at rest in life because the work has already been done. You know, you're in a constant state of prayer and meditation. You rest on the sword of truth, which was that Queen of Swords that just came out under the deck before this. You rest your laurels on the sword of truth. This is the heartbreak that's in the past. That's hanging up on the wall almost like a trophy of sorts, if you can see that essence there. This is all in the past. It's behind you. And all that you have done to overcome those experiences and in the matters of self-reflection and what do you call it, improvement, or, you know, investment in a sense, it has just been par for the course. Like it's literally like a trophy hanging on your mantle because it's now, you know, it's something that is almost exemplary of the value of your what? Strength. The first card that was out in the very beginning. It's the exhibition of your strength, that you get to be in a restful state, almost in this, you know, in these like sacred confines of peace amidst all that could be going on beyond those church walls. Isn't that kind of like a church window? You're safe and sacred within your own being, because the value of the heartbreak or just the unfavorable circumstances that you've overcome has been accepted as something of value, something invaluable to your expansion, you know, and your exaltation. And there's another word I'm looking for, your evolution, which is right here in this Wheel of Fortune card. Definitely speaks to evolution. And now you just living it up, you know, in the Garden of Eden, so to speak, on account of the work that you've already done, the labor you've already put in. Let's see what else we got. Oh, that was what, 3 cards. All right, yeah. All right, so we got, I hate to mess up my little formation down here, but we got the Page of Cups, pardon me, not the Ace, the Page. Let's see, maybe I can move this up. Move that up, move that up, move that up. Okay, now ladies, now let's get information. Bear with me a sec. All right, yeah, we'll probably do like one more line and I'm gonna close it out. As you can probably hear from the rasp in my voice, I'm kind of a little bit tired. And I tapped into some wild energy earlier, so I think it's time to call it a day in terms of tarot. All right, so let's see. So we got the Page of Cups here, who's making some offer, and then we got the Page of Pentacles under the deck, who's also making some offer. This is a message of some emotional expression. This is some offering of material expression. Yeah. Yeah, but lately when I'm seeing the pages, I mean, it could absolutely be good news, but when I'm seeing it up against the Emperor and this energy here, which is the Nine of Pentacles, who's pretty content in her existence as is. And even here, with this progression with the Queen of Pentacles, and then this community card of equal give and take, yeah, is what I felt. It's like, be careful of the offers, those commitments again, because at every wake and turn that you are sitting in this autonomous, sovereign state of being, there's always going to be someone looking to connect, or someone looking to extract some value from your position. There's going to be looking to experience your essence in some way, shape, or form. Professionally, as I always say, personally, energetically, intimately, to me, it's just yet another caution to be aware. Like the Queen of Pentacles knows that she is of high value. She's the highest value queen in the deck. There's the Empress, of course, but the Queen of Pentacles is particularly focused on material value and her wealth, her what she's worth. And translatable in a material sense is important because we're sensational human beings, and our resources are what we more or less measure ourselves by in the most sensational sense. So if you're aligning with things like this in comparison to the Queen and even the Nine of Pentacles, this is a pretty small offer. What's the exchange rate here? For one Page of Pentacles up against a Nine of Pentacles, there's going to be some imbalance there. Temperance card. With the Page of Cups, it's an expression of emotional, it's an emotional expression. So it could be it could be an expression of endearment, of admiration, an offering of love to connect, especially here under this Two of Cups energy. But is that a matchup? Is the Page of Cups truly going to add value? You don't really know what's in that cup with a fish in it. There's something a little bit off kilter about this offer. There's something a little bit small about this one. So it's just like speaking to that idea of maintaining your value and your standards. Also, your standards. Your wealth is creating balance in, as a queen throughout a kingdom. This energy here, like communities are going to be impacted by the wealth that you stand to gain and maintain. So it's not that you take responsibility for the weight of the world per se, but that you do have a certain assignment to complete, given the great gift of abundance that you have been given. To whom much is given, much is required. And if you happen to get caught up giving away, your blessings to entities or energies that haven't really proven to be a matchup, or even proven to be worthy of receiving, because even if there is a great value you can bring to someone else, you still have to be clear that it's in alignment with your highest self. It's in assignment with your destiny, because one wrong move in this day and age, one misalignment, one misconnection or disconnection could cost you everything, and then before you know it, you could be down into this Page of Pentacles stage, begging for seed, begging for bread down here, when once upon a time, or really more importantly, happily ever after, you have been ordained to be the lender and not the borrower. You know, you want to maintain that position of prominence, not in the sense to feel, you know, that you have power, authority over people, you know, in a derogatory sense or in a diabolical sense, but because you've been given this gift and this opportunity of wealth and prosperity, first to be aware of it within self, from the space of being given the will to work toward it, to work toward this wholeness and things that are in alignment with your happiness. It's your duty, in a sense, you know, it's your, what's that saying, like, it's your reasonable service to maintain that value, so that if nothing else, you can continue to be an example of that possibility in the earth for others to follow, so that if you don't give anybody a dime, you maintaining your prominence and your prosperity and productivity in the highest vibration, and in integrity, is an example in itself for others to be inspired by, you know, as opposed to partnering up with everyone that has a handout, or anybody that is offering you some opportunity for connection or co-creation, and taking a risk on account of an emotional attachment, or, you know, some inflection of guilt, or, you know, some tugging on the heartstrings, like, oh, I got it, I should give it. You know, you actually could be doing much less of a service to the whole of society that you are ordained to serve than you would be to an individual that you may have to unfortunately say no thank you, or not at this time, or no, I'm not interested, or whatever the case may be. You know, don't be afraid to break some hearts for the purposes of, you know, spiritual satisfaction and sanctity. You know, you are a sacred being. You have already been proven to be so from, you know, the source unto your own self. You don't have to prove anything else to anyone else, you know. Yeah. And there's the Empress. Bam. Need I even say more? I don't think so. That is that position of prominence and power, the ultimate feminine force in the land, who indeed has a responsibility to her court. And it may cause some disruption to those that may be on the other end of that no thank you, or not now, or not never for some for some, but it doesn't take anything away from the Empress's throne, to have to say no. As a matter of fact, it's her responsibility to know when no is the proper word or the proper answer, you know, on account of, you know, offers and opportunities that may arise. I don't know what that Knight of Swords thought, but I mean, that Nine of Swords is tripping about, but we can't even stop to think about it. Like, you can't even give it too much energy. I'm not taking that. I'm just taking two more and we out of here. You can't even give it too much thought. You got to stay focused on your assignment, you know, if you could, and kind of be indifferent to emotional attachments that are not, you know, that are not justifiably, King of Cups, that are not justifiably sound for you to address. You know what I mean? Like, if it doesn't affect your kingdom as ordained directly, yeah. And Queen of Swords. Queen of Swords, yeah, if it's not in alignment with your truth, and that's the indifference also. Queen of Swords is not particularly emotionally attached. She can actually be a bit detached. But it doesn't mean that she's closed, because as you can see, she still has a hand open, which means that she has a heart, or at least an ear open to listen and to consider. But you still have to run that consideration through your highest vibration of creative consciousness. Yeah, let the spirit expose what is of divine alignment and what is not, and then you have to follow suit. And I see the high priestess here peeking out. I saw the pillar. You have to follow suit, and the Hierophant. Look at that. You have to follow suit with what is in alignment and in integrity with your highest value. Period. You know, no guilt, no shame, no claim to the throne but your own. I don't know where that came from, but we gonna roll with it. All right, one more, spirit, and we out here. I'm even shuffling tired. One more. Thank you. Oh, it came back out. That is crazy. That's that on that. This is Leo energy yet again. You know, this is that exposure. This is that prosperity, productivity. You know, that's what we are after in terms of production and co-creation and procreation, to be the expressions of the source, you know what I mean, in the most primitive way to say it, you know, but the most powerful too, in a sense. We are to be like the rays of the sun, to be impactful and impressionable and vital, productive in every sense of the word, to be expressions of joy and happiness and peace and hope and, you know, the highest value of energy in the land, and a land that can be quite dark at times. You know, hermit energy here, where you go internally to find the light. This is the light. Once you find it internally, you know, once you are led to it, that highest expression of you, that innermost truth of you, is then the responsibility here at this very prominent stage of power. We got the Queen of Pentacles, we got the Empress and the Queen of Swords. It's our responsibility to be reflections and inflections of that light in every way, shape, and form we can possibly be. You know, here's a Nine of Cups, which is, you know, wish fulfillment in this case. You know, I can say that in this case, but it's about, you know, being, it's the masculine energy of this, the Nine of Pentacles and the Nine of Cups. And this energy has been kind of coming in so lately in overindulgence, and I would still like to say that as we are experiencing all of this great wealth and prosperity, it is definitely still a responsibility of our own to not be overindulgent and lustful in the material senses of life and sensationalism of life, but to be spiritually balanced, you know, and to be content with the prosperity that we have acquired, you know, again, not being resistant of it, not rejecting it, like that Four of Cups came up, not rejecting it in the inflection of the world that can be a bit dark. You know, a lot of people are going to be taking a journey inward to pretty much do the very thing that you've already done for yourself in one shape or another, because everybody's waking up at their own pace, at their own time, and walking their journey on their own timeline. So everybody's journey looks a bit different, but ultimately the way forward is inward for everyone. So whether it's today, tomorrow, next year, next week, 10 years from now, if you still have breath in your body and wish to experience this culmination of success and happiness and prosperity as is exemplified in the Sun card, it comes from an internal space, an internal search and surrender, you know, to find that inner light and be guided by it, by source, from the inside out. And for us that, you know, have been a yes to that path, you know, and have taken it proudly, also Leo energy, and courageously, pardon me, also Leo energy. It's now us that are given it's now a green light, pardon me, that's been given. I guess it's these cups I'm burping. And this now is like an overflow, from the inside out, and we are given the green light to fully embrace that, that burst of fulfillment, that overflow, Ace of Cups, of fulfillment in all the ways that it is acquired, because I see that there will be many Aces of Cups for some of us, many overflows of joy and peace and tranquility and happiness, many overflows of wealth, many, what do you call it, streams of income for us in such a way that you won't even hardly be able to keep track, let alone spend it in a lifetime. And that is okay. I feel guided to have to say that it is okay to truly receive that abundance and not resist it, no matter what you see going on around you, and no matter what experience you may have come from or even created for yourself in the past. You've already been ordained for this blessing of prosperity and overflow. And the only thing that can stop it or block it is your resistance to it in some way, shape, and form. So just, enjoy life as it's coming to you, because you deserve it. All right, you deserve it. The vibration of your material wealth and expression is a exact match and reflection of the spiritual investments that have already been made. So even if it seems to be a little bit, expanded, because that's what Jupiter does, it's like, whoa, where did all this come from? Did I even ask for this? You know what I mean? Do I even deserve this? The answer is yes. Yes, you do. You did the work, receive the rewards as such. In spirit and in truth, it is so, and so it is. Till next time, peace.